I'm going to talk about how to create a habit. Okay, so if you want to start something new, you haven't been doing it, but it's something that you want to, pick up, and it's a habit that you want to develop. I talked about flossing. That's an example. So I'll give you that example. Also, maybe health. So like, maybe you want to start running. Okay. So here's what you do. There's a reason it is habits and reminders, because you can't just create a habit on its own. Your brain's not going to work that way. Your brain naturally wants to do zero. Your brain doesn't want to do anything. It just wants to hang out and do what it always does. We're the ones that have to wake it up and get it going. In order to do that, you have to set reminders, or else your brain is going to do the exact same thing. And then later on, you're going to go, oh, I didn't do that thing I wanted to do, because your brain's not automatically going to catch it. So you set out reminders. So let's take the examples. So obviously running, maybe you put out a pair of running shoes. Maybe if it's going to be after work, so right when you walk in the door, your running shoes are sitting right there. You need something to spark your brain to tell you, oh, instead of, getting to my house and going to the fridge, or, going into my room, or whatever you normally do, because we all have these routines, you have to break it up and you have to spark your brain. So put a pair of running shoes right in the front door. If it's in the morning, maybe it's, by your bed, or, by your shower, or wherever you need to be. It's up to you to decide what's going to work. And sometimes it takes a few tries. It doesn't always take the first try. A strategy and a tip that is very, very key when you're trying to create a habit is sandwiching it in between two things that you already do. So if you're trying to pick up flossing, what you do is, say you normally brush your teeth and you do a mouthwash. Okay, that's your normal routine, and that's just what you do. So if you want to start flossing, if you buy floss and then stick it in the drawer, the cupboard, or whatever, are you going to floss? Probably not. You can put a Post-it up on your mirror. That might help. But here's what I would suggest is, you first brush your teeth. You're automatically going to do that. It's something you already do. So you brush your teeth, and then what do? You reach for your mouthwash. So if you set your floss right down next to the mouthwash, your floss is staring you in the face. It's pretty easy just to grab that, do a little flossing, and then you do your mouthwash. You do that. You sandwich it in between something, and it's going to help remind you to do it, and then you'll do it. And after however long that habit takes to kick in, you obviously create and make it your own. But sandwiching something in between two things you already do is extremely important. So let's go back to the running. Say you want to leave your shoes out. Like I said, we all have routines. So if you come home, the first thing you do, there's probably something you do. Maybe it's go to the fridge. Maybe it's go to the couch and turn on the TV. Whatever it may be, you want to make sure that your shoes are in between two things that you normally do, because that's going to it's going to allow your brain to easily convert to that. And it'll be easy to put those shoes on and get out the door and go run. Does that make sense? I hope so. So the big tip here is, if you're trying to create a habit, sandwich it in between two things that you already do. Because first of all, mindfulness. To be mindful means to pay attention on purpose. And like I said, that's a tough thing for us to do, especially in this day and age with the social media, with, all of the information that hits us, left, right, up, down, everywhere. Staying focused and paying attention to what you're doing is not that easy. So the more you practice, the better you get at it, because the more you practice, it becomes a habit. Okay. Repetition breeds consistency, which creates habits. So that's all it is just doing the same thing over and over. So what we're going to do is, the 13 weeks to mindfulness here is, I'm going to give you exercises each week, sort of an area in mindfulness and an exercise that you can do. And then you're going to do it every single day, for whether it's 30 seconds, 60 seconds, a few minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, up to you. And depending on where your mindfulness goes. And after 13 weeks of this, you start to become organically mindful. And when you start to make mindfulness a habit in your life, I promise you, your life will change. The way you see things, the way you react, you become smarter, you become funnier, your brain is just firing on a whole nother level. We want to be here. That's our purpose, our waking up every day excited about our day, about our life, where we are and where we're going. In order to do that, we need to accomplish the goals, the things that we want in life. In order to do that, we have to create the habits that are going to get us to those goals. And in order to create the habits, you have to be mindful. Habits aren't just going to create themselves. You have to be mindful in order to create those habits. So do you see, it all starts with mindfulness. So this is why this section is so important. And no matter what you previously thought about mindfulness or mindful meditation or any of that kind of stuff, you can throw it out the window if you don't like it, because I'm going to give you a very practical sort of outlook on how to do this. And your brain's just going to start attaching itself to it. And like I said, after 13 weeks, you start to become organically mindful and your life will change. I promise you that. The benefits of mindfulness are amazing. I'm not going to go into them right now. I will go into them next. But once you become mindful and the more you practice, it actually rewires your brain. It changes the way you think, feel, act, and be. And it's a better you. So that's why mindfulness is such an important thing, because it's the beginning of the habits, of the goals, and your ultimate life. So that is your week, your weekly section. So take this week, look at it, look at last week, kind of go over and what'd you learn, and then start plugging in your goals and, pick out some to-dos, do your schedule. And then obviously with the habits, pick out those habits that you want to create. It couldn't be just one. It's always nice to just start with one. You don't want to try and do 4, 5, or 6, because normally that's not going to work. It will never take. So try and pick out one, maybe 2 at the most that you want to start. And maybe they're part of your goals. And then I will see you in the next section, the daily pages.